And we're live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 8th episode of Friendly Banter. Today we have a very special guest in Daniel. Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm not sure what you want me to say. I go to University of Waterloo. I'm studying computer engineering and I like bikes.
That's a great segue because today we're going to talk about biking. And Daniel, anyone that knows you knows you love biking.
Yeah,
And
I would say that's the correct statement.
mhm. So, can you tell us what's so great about biking? Why do you love biking so much?
Uh, I don't know, as I've always liked biking ever since I was young. It just gives me a sense of freedom.
Mhm.
It allows me to explore the world pretty fast. Like you can't get very far if you're walking or running, or if you can't do it really fast. And it, it doesn't cost gas or anything, it just costs food for fuel. I just like seeing things.
Mhm. Quick aside, what's more efficient? Like human muscles or a internal combustion engine?
What's the efficiency of an internal combustion engine?
30%.
Humans are like 20%.
Aw, dude. I
It's
guess.
like 20-25.
How efficient are bikes then?
But uh, it depends. I think the bikes themselves are reasonably efficient. Like the only things that you're worried about are rolling resistance,
Mm-hmm.
uh, your chain.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the main things. Like drag is a different story, I
True.
think, in terms of efficiency.
True. How much drag is there when you
Uh,
bike?
that's that depends on how fast you're going. If you're going really fast, drag has a lot more of an effect than if
True.
you're
Fair.
going
Fair. Fair.
slow.
Fair. 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 Yeah. So
Uh,
back to the original question. I want to ask you. So, you spoke about like the psychological feeling of like feeling free, right? And it's just a nice, pleasant, I don't know, experience, right?
yep.
Can you speak to the health benefits of biking and what has it allow you to do?
Uh, Truthfully, I don't. I stopped thinking of biking as exercise, though I do it at a like it's mainly a hobby that I just do for fun. But I do admit that it does have health benefits.
Yeah.
Um, it's a pretty good way of burning calories, but because it's so intensive, you have a really large appetite as well. So
Hmm.
um, if you're using it for weight management, you have to remember that the main thing to do with weight management is it's a function of calories in minus calories out.
True. Yeah.
Um, in terms of like muscle mass and whatnot, it's not really a muscle building exercise. It just
Hmm.
makes you lean.
Yeah. True. I heard from some research when I read some research while doing some research. I read from some articles while doing research for this podcast that biking is really good for you because it's easy on the joints compared to other like physical activities like
Oh, like running, right?
yeah like running or like I guess all sports require running like playing soccer or like basketball and stuff like that. Basketball especially, those are basketball is really tough on your knees and joints. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine because it has running and jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, while it's true that it's less impactful, um, there are certain things that you have to watch out for. Like when you generally the more serious road cyclists and mountain cyclists or triathletes, they have clip-in pedals, and it just locks you into your pedal, so your foot is always in a fixed position.
Oh
Um,
really?
yeah, like I have shoes that I just lock into my pedals, and since it's always in the fixed position, you have to make sure that your pedals are set up properly, because it's bad if if your leg is rotated the wrong way for yourself, and it'll
Uh-huh.
cause knee damage over time.
Oh dang, that's scary. Wait, so how do you get out of them then? Do you have to like how do you
Uh,
unclip them?
I think it depends on what model you have, but most of the ones I've seen is you just twist. Like, if this is the pedal
Oh, okay, okay.
and this is your foot, you just clip in like this, but to get out, you go like that.
Oh, makes sense. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
True, true, true. So, what kind of bike do you have?
I have a road bike, and it's just sitting right next to me. That's what I was looking at earlier.
Yeah, true. It's okay. This is a podcast, so we don't have to show it off. But everybody just know it's a sick bike.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Brought it
So,
from Singapore.
you bought it in Singapore?
My current one, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just brought it back with me when I came
How
back
many bikes do
from
you have?
exchange. I have two, but my first one it was a bit too big for me, so I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
tossed it in a bag and haven't touched it since I returned.
True, true, true. Which is a perfect lead to our next question which is, so for the average person, what do you need to get started? Like, do you need to get a nice road bike, or is it okay if you go to Canadian Tire and buy a super cycle? And like, is it important to like spec out on the skin suits and the helmets and the visors and the you know the
Uh,
gear?
uh, Honestly, I feel like a bike is a bike, but the more you spend to a certain point, it's nicer. With obviously, there's depreciating gains with more you spend. I don't think I would ever recommend someone go to Canadian Tire or Walmart or something to buy a bike. If you're looking for something around that price range, I would go to like Kijiji or something because you'd find those same bikes or you'd find better quality bikes for the same price or cheaper.
Really?
Um, yeah,
How
because like the
come?
thing with art,
How come?
uh, well, if it's a Canadian Tire bike, there will be people selling on Kijiji. Um,
True.
and like those are just lower quality. Like generally,
Yeah.
they're not made of the greatest materials, or the workmanship isn't great,
Mm-hmm.
or um, yeah, the parts aren't good. So it requires a lot more maintenance than you'd want.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just don't recommend them.
True.
Forgot what I was saying.
What do you think about people who ride about who ride mountain bikes on like normal roads? Like, what if that's the bike they have, and they're like they don't want to spend that extra money? Do you
Um,
recommend them just keeping that mountain bike, or should they upgrade if they want to get serious into biking?
like if you have a mountain bike, because of the tires that you use, uh, they're not really suited for the road, and it limits how fast you can go or how efficient you can be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you find it's comfortable or whatever, and you don't have complaints, you do you. It doesn't really matter. It's just a
True.
hobby.
How much difference does it actually make? Because are mountain bikes just heavier and bigger wheels? Is that the main thing?
Uh, well, the wheels. What you're really asking about is like the tires, tire
Okay.
width. Yeah, I think there's a pretty big difference in the rolling resistance, but I don't know for myself because I haven't really tried mountain bikes. But I imagine it'd be a really large difference because it's just a lot less smooth.
All right. I kept thinking the messenger sound was from my phone, but it was from my computer the whole time. Sorry to all the listeners that have been listening to the beeps this whole time, telling me to no. All the messengers were telling me to were telling me to mute the messengers. Anyways, back on topic.
And I see those now.
So a quick aside. One of our viewers asked any Yowamushi pedals in the chat, and I know you've watched it. What's your opinion
Yeah,
on the show?
no, it's a pretty lit show. It's one of the motivators for why I got into road cycling specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like my friend just recommended to me because they were like, "Yo, this show reminds me of you," because I was riding my bike to school at the time, just like some cheap mountain bike.
Yeah.
Wore glasses, kind of like scrawny, and I liked anime, so it was like 1-to-1. That's me. And then I watched it. It's pretty good. But I watched it before I had enough money to buy a road bike for myself. So ever since I watched it in like grade 10 or something, it's just been lingering in my mind that I want to get into road cycling.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. So, when did you start biking?
Like seriously?
Yeah, like
Or
seriously. Like the way you are now.
2017. 2017, I would say.
2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started when a bunch of high school friends
Yeah.
went to Niagara Falls. And then another guy showed up a little late because he decided he'd take a nice bike ride from Toronto to Niagara Falls in a day on his like 10 to 15K bike, and I was like, it's pretty sweet. I'm gonna get a bike now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty lit. So, is it normal for you to go that far for your first like route?
Oh, he'd been riding for a while before then, so that wasn't
Okay.
his first time
I see.
riding. But I think that was the longest ride he'd done before.
True.
I think for most people, without any prior experience, they should be able to go like maybe an hour or so, so like 15 to 20 kilometers,
Uh-huh.
depending on the terrain.
Yeah.
Like you have to build up the stamina and legs to be able to go like 100 kilometers or something like that.
100 kilometers. That sounds nuts. How far is 100 kilometers? That's like from here to
Uh,
Waterloo, no? Like from here to Waterloo is like
well, it
100.
depends if you go on like the highway or local. Like I obviously can't go on the highway, but I
Yeah.
found that whenever I went, it ranges from like 120 kilometers to 160 if I'm taking some detours.
That's nuts. How long does that take for you?
Uh, well, you also have to take into account direction. If you're going from Waterloo to Toronto, it's mostly downhill.
Yeah.
Um, so I could do that in like 4 hours because I think last time I tried it, I was averaging 30 kilometers an hour. But the reverse, I'm significantly slower. So I'd say like 6 hours, not including breaks.
Fair. Yeah, so this kind of leads into the next question is how do you pick your routes and how do you pick your routes and how would you recommend like a random beginner to like decide like where I'm gonna bike today? You know?
Um, for road cycling, I think at the beginning, I just kind of chose things randomly, and I find that some of my decisions weren't very good. Like example, back when I started, I did a loop around Toronto, and I just wanted to do a loop, so I took the trails. Um, but I just ignored the part where it was under construction, so I just had to like fight my way through rocks and stuff on my road bike. Had to cross a river with my bike and my shoes. That wasn't very fun. So if you want to do a little bit more intelligent stuff, there's a media platform that I've been using called Strava, and they have something called a global heat map. And that shows you what routes are most popular, and typically more popular routes are better for riding on. So
True.
you could just look for popular roads and kind of plan it out that way.
Mm-hmm.
There are also apps online that you could do. Once you get like a little bit faster and stuff, you could like join a club, and clubs normally have lots of routes that they've made,
There's
either from
clubs.
experience or whatnot. Yeah.
Like Strava clubs or like actual like people who get together and bike together.
The latter mainly.
Oh really?
Sorry for being unclear.
That's
Obviously
crazy.
not now as much because of you know, but before I was part of a club when I was in Waterloo.
Uh-huh. That's pretty cool. Wait, so does everybody have to keep the same pace? Or is it
Uh,
just like everybody, this is our route today, we're going this direction, and then you go at your own pace?
Normally when you do group rides, everyone's riding at the same pace,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're riding at speed, the main thing that's hindering you is drag, right?
Yeah.
So the idea behind riding in a group is that other people can ride in front of you and take most of the
Oh my god, is that
wind resistance.
that's the actual thing, dude?
Yeah, it's
Because
called drafting.
I don't know if you've ever played biking on Wii Sports Resort,
I
but
have not.
it's a great mini game. And in that game, that's a huge component of it is you wanna bike behind somebody else because you get a speed boost because they're taking all the drag for you.
Yeah,
Dude,
it makes a huge difference. Like it could
really?
be, um, you can go over 20. You can spend like 25% less effort, like 50% maybe, depending on how fast, how far it is. Like
Dang.
it also obviously depends on the person that's in front of you, like
Yeah.
how much of a benefit you get.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm a small guy, so if someone's behind me, they don't really experience much of a drag effect. But if I were to go behind someone like you, who's a lot taller, it have a pretty big effect. I'd save a lot of energy.
Wait, so I know this is a stupid idea. Then can't you just like why don't bikes have like a really light plastic like clear visor so they have more aerodynamic qualities? You know what I mean? Like so, cause what I'm hearing is that like your body is not very aerodynamic,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so you produce a lot of drag. You know what I mean? So you can have a like a shield, that's like
yeah,
curved.
and like bearings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, for road bikes specifically, there's something called the UCI, which is just the governing body behind like professional road races and whatnot,
Hmm.
and they have specifications on what your road bike can be. Like there's a weight limit, there's certain shapes that it has to be, and basically that would be illegal for the
So
UCI.
so it's a UCI
There
that's
are
stopping us.
Yeah, there are like super aerodynamic things.
Uh huh.
Um, like and there are world records. If you do like the world record for the fastest manpower vehicle, it's like some super aerodynamic thing, but the guy is like lying face down, like he's lying backwards, and
Yeah.
he's just pedaling it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then you're like a bullet, like those
Yeah, yeah.
jets. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Is that still considered biking then?
Uh, I think the super aerodynamic ones that I was talking about, they aren't on two wheels, so no.
True.
Um, uh, I think so. If it has two wheels, it's considered biking.
Fair.
Like, have you ever seen the ones where people are reclined? I forgot what they're called.
Recline?
Uh, like they're lying on their back and they're pedaling and their feet are in front of them. It's called a recumbent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like those are a lot more aerodynamic, but I think those are still considered bikes.
I'm never seeing anybody ride that. I know they have that in like boats, you know what I mean? Like man pedal boats. Like where it's like there's like a pedal in front of you
Oh
and
yeah,
then you
yeah, I think
pedal
so.
and then
Yeah,
like the boat goes and they're like shaped in swans and stuff. I don't know, maybe it's a Chinese thing.
I think I know what you're talking about. But
True.
yeah, like those exist for bikes, and those are you can go a lot faster on those because there's just so much less drag.
Mm-hmm. True.
Um, yep. The biggest source of drag is the human body. It's
Fair.
just not very aerodynamic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. One of our audience asked, "What about four wheels?" Buddy, that's not a bike.
It's
A
a
bike is
quadricycle.
is bicycle, as in two cycle. If you have four, and it's a quad
Quadricycle.
quadricycle. Yeah, exactly. You guys, come on. Yo, okay. So I was thinking, right?
Yes.
I was thinking. Have you have do you know why the bike went home?
What?
You know why the bike went home?
Is this like a chicken cross the road joke?
Yeah.
No,
Honestly, dude, I delivered that
it said
so poorly. Dude, I'm gonna edit this out at the
it
after. Oh
said
my god.
bye.
Dude, that was the worst delivery in the world. Okay, we're gonna restart. Alright, restart. Okay, the podcast starts again, okay? Alright.
Clap for sinking.
Do you know why the bike went home, Daniel?
No, sir, I do not.
It was too tired.
Oh God.
Yo, editor, cut this out.
Clap for sinking.
Alright, clap for sinking, alright. And we're live. Welcome back to Friendly Banter episode 8. So here we're with Daniel and we're talking about bikes. Alright. So Daniel, what do you do in the winter then?
Uh, I get fat. I don't do much. But there's also indoor training.
Uh-huh.
Like you can hook your existing bike up to some machine, and you
Yeah.
can watch little characters on the screen go that are powered by your pedaling, your cycling or whatnot.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that in an anime. That is so crazy. Like, isn't that so hard to like be safe? Cause can you just fall?
Are you referencing what you saw in Yamushi Pedal?
Yeah. Is it that?
So those are rollers, and I don't
Uh-huh.
have those.
Uh-huh.
Those require concentration, from what I've heard. I've never tried it myself. What I'm talking about is it's like pretty stable.
Okay.
It's hard to fall off unless you purposely try to just throw yourself off the bike. So in terms of that, no.
True. Wait, so how does it work? How does yours work?
Uh, so there's two types. There's a wheel on, and then there's direct drive. I have a wheel on, and basically I just put my bike on normally, basically, and the rear tire is pressed against the resistance unit.
So is it like a roller too?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But only the rear wheel is spinning.
And then the front wheel is just free,
It's just lying on
dangling.
the ground, not moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. True. Huh. That is interesting. Wait, so for anyone that doesn't know, so the thing I saw on the anime is crazy, dude. It's basically just like two like cylinders, and you just stick your wheel on top of it, and there's nothing protecting you from like falling off. You just put your bike on the cylinders, and they're like this wide, and then you just roll on them and hope you don't fall. Sounds crazy. Yeah. All right. Our audience really wants to see your thigh muscles, Daniel.
This is a podcast.
You're right. So can you exactly? So can you describe to our audience just how jacked your thigh muscles are from
Uh,
biking?
I think my thighs are around the same size as some guy I know that's like 5'10". But keep in mind that I'm like 5'2", so it's the same size thighs as someone who's 8 inches taller than me.
Mm-hmm. True.
It looks disproportionate. It's like I have tree trunks.
You definitely do have tree trunks. And can you tell the audience from from Swiss cheese to diamond on that scale, how hard are your thighs?
Uh,
How rock solid are them?
Assuming diamond's a 10, I'd say like maybe a 7 or 8. I've been lazy recently. It's the heat wave that's been going on,
Yeah.
preventing me from going outside.
Mm-hmm. True. What's comfortable temperature to bike then? Like
Uh,
20s?
I bike from like 10 degrees and I biked in 30 degrees when I was in Singapore,
Yeah.
but that was normally at night. I don't do that much here.
True.
I think the perfect temperature is maybe like 16, 17 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Fair. True. Then do you watch any like professional bikes? Do you watch like Tour de France and stuff like that?
No,
No?
no, I
Are you
have like
familiar?
zero interest in that.
True.
Pardon?
Are you familiar with any of it?
Yeah, I know like some stuff. Like I know
Mm-hmm.
that recently the four-time winner of the Tour de France crashed into a wall
Oh,
early
really?
last year, and he got kicked from his team basically. I have not confirmed. Hope you don't get flamed for this. Hope I don't get flamed for this. But yeah, that happened.
True. Yo, what do you? I don't know if you have an opinion on this, but you know how like back in the day, uh, what's his name? What's his first name?
Uh,
Armstrong?
Lance,
Yeah, Lance.
Lance.
Yeah. You know how Lance won like 40,000 Tour de France in a row,
Heck yeah, man.
and it turns out he was uh blood
Doping.
trans. Yeah, he was getting that youth blood. Yeah. So for the audience that doesn't know, basically the guy Lance Armstrong, he won a bunch of Tour de France, and he was like really crazy. And it turns out he was doping, and it took away all his medals and stuff like that. But then, as it turns out, basically like the top 40 people like during those days in at like every single race were all doing the same thing. So he did win like deservedly because they were all on the same drug, you know. But because he was doping, they took away his medals. Yeah, and and his argument was that like if he didn't do it, then he would like just have no chance because everybody was doing it, right? Do you have any take on that, Daniel?
Uh, no, he faked it until he made it, and then he didn't make it anymore. He got caught. Uh, no, I don't have many opinions. I think most things at high levels are a little sus.
Yeah,
But regardless of whether or not they dope, they're still like really strong athletes. Like they
true.
still have to have the mental capacity to be able to do all those things.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, I heard something crazy like Lance Armstrong had like a 30 resting heart rate.
Uh, Possibly. Endurance athletes have really low resting heart rates.
Yeah.
Like I think at my peak, my resting heart rate was like 49, 48 or something like that. 30 is possible, but I don't know who does.
Yeah, kind of,
But if
I don't know if it's a myth, but damn, 30 resting heart rate sounds crazy. Have you ever heard that theory where it's like your heart only beats like a fixed amount?
I think so.
Do you think there's any validity to it, or do you think it's just urban myth?
Honestly, I have no clue. Um, and also, I'm not sure there's any benefit of using biking to achieve a lower heart rate because when you're biking under intensity, your heart rate is like pretty high. Like it'll be like 10 times higher or something. So I haven't worked out the math, but I feel like it wouldn't really decrease it by that much.
True. But you're resting a lot more, like a lot longer than you are working out, right?
Uh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody has to do the math. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
so what's your opinion on um what's your opinion on bike lanes?
bike lanes
Because some people
for
love
the
them, some people hate them.
for the greater community, I feel like they're a good idea. Personally, I don't use it if it's like blocked off. I don't really like it because people are too slow and it kind of just obstructs my way.
Okay, geez. Okay, yeah. True.
In Canada, you're not legally like required to use them. In
Mm-hmm.
some parts of the world, you are though, like Singapore.
Mm-hmm. Is does all bikers like bike on the? This is a stupid question. Do they all bike on like the road?
Road cyclists generally yes. Like if your wheel size is above a certain diameter, it's illegal to bike on the sidewalk.
Hmm. What are the regulations concerning that? Like, are there like rules going like you can't ride your bike on the road if you're going too slow? You can't ride your bike on the sidewalk if you're going too fast, like stuff like that.
Uh, I'm not sure of the exact specifics. I think you're allowed to bike most places unless it's explicitly mentioned that you can't. For example, Series 400 highways, you can't bike on those.
Fair. That's a good
Uh,
law.
for sidewalk, I think it's just illegal, but most people don't really care, as you can probably tell when you look outside.
Wait, it's
Um,
illegal to bike on sidewalks?
if your wheel's above a certain diameter, yeah. Maybe there's a
What's
speed limit associated with it, but I do it myself sometimes, but I'll
yeah?
go like really slow and I'll never ask a pedestrian to move aside from me because I'm not supposed to be there. Um,
Wait, what's the diameter?
that's something I'd have to search up.
Oh, okay. Somebody said 20-inch bikes not allowed. Okay, how much is 26 inches? Okay, so okay, this ruler only has centimeters.
It's a little bit more than two rulers.
A little more than two rulers. Okay, that. Okay, I think my wheels are under that. Basically an adult bike. Okay, maybe my wheels are not. Okay, yo, you're right.
Oh, another note related to legality, you're also not allowed to ride a bike while you're drunk. A lot of people haven't considered that, but yeah,
You're not allowed to
it's
bike while
illegal.
intoxicated.
Yes.
What about being high?
I honestly, I don't know. It's probably the same.
True, makes sense. But you're not
Uh,
exactly operating a dangerous vehicular device, no?
you can still harm yourself, and I feel like you can
Fair,
still cause a crash. And if you're on the sidewalk, for example, you could crash into a pedestrian.
fair. Yeah. Yeah, that just seems like bad common sense. I didn't know that was illegal. Wait, what about wearing helmets? Are you legally required to wear helmets?
Under a certain age, like 16 or something, you have to wear a helmet.
Under 16.
Yeah. If you're
Okay.
over a certain age, you don't have to, but I still recommend everyone wear a helmet.
I hate wearing helmets. I feel,
Uh,
dude, I feel like I'm already so sweaty not wearing one. Dude, every time dude, this might be kind of gross for all our listeners, but dude, my eyebrows are not thick enough to stop all the sweat dripping from my forehead.
you can buy like a headband or something to wear underneath the helmet.
Okay, fair, but that is so hot, no?
There are like good materials. It's also the helmet that you have. Like some helmets
True.
have better ventilation.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go buy a helmet because I'm a
Good.
law-abiding citizen. I mean,
You just don't want to get permanent brain damage.
I agree. I agree. True. Why are bike helmets designed the way they are? Because I feel like they're the only ones that are like just the top of your head. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't cover like any sides. It's just top. You know? I don't know if it's a
Uh,
dumb question.
I've never thought of that before. Um, but I know that there are some helmets that do kind of cover your entire head, but those are mainly like aerodynamics focused rather than safety focused. I can't answer that question.
True.
I don't know why.
True. Well, dude, I honestly feel like there must be a market for better designed bike helmets because I know A lot of people just don't wear bike helmets because they look bad. I don't know, what is it? I feel like there's so like I feel like out of every single person I know that rides a bike, like not like seriously, because all like people like you definitely ride a bike, but like just casuals, dude, they hate wearing bike helmets. Why is that? Why is such a stigma against bike helmets?
I don't know. I think people just think it's lame.
True.
It's like how a lot of middle schoolers just like staying up late and bragging about how little sleep they've got when that's not good for you.
True.
I
Hey,
think like
adults do
people
it
also
too.
don't like helmet hair. Like you said, maybe you have don't have a great helmet, so it makes it uncomfortable or heat problems.
Hmm. True. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's all helmets if I think about it. Like if I ever go skating, dude, no middle schooler is gonna wear a helmet. Especially if they went there with a girl.
I don't think I even wear helmets when I'm skating.
Dude, honestly, I remember skating in middle school and that was always such a what's the word? I feel like it was such a um quote unquote social event. But social just means like you're trying to impress the girls by going fast. And that wasn't just me, it was like every single guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
faster you go, the more at risk you are for some sort of damage.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Have you ever fallen off your bike? Like, and got injured?
Yeah, multiple times I've fallen off. I think in 2018,
Yeah.
I clipped my pedal against the road and I just slid under. And then I had a scar on my leg for a while. It ended my season early.
That's a
Um,
yikes.
my helmet has saved me on multiple occasions. You should
True.
also always replace the helmet after a traumatic crash.
Fair. Yeah. You hit your head once, right? And you had to go to the hospital in Waterloo?
Oh yeah, that was a waste of time. Depends how hard you hit it.
True.
I'm
So,
sorry, Clement.
hey, better safe than sorry, you know? Yeah. Yeah, so what's your opinion on bodysuits then? How expensive are they, first of all?
That depends. It's people wear them for two things: comfort. Oh, you're also flinging the ruler around. Nice. Comfort and aerodynamics. Um, and the price ranges from like $20 to several $100s. Like you just get some cheap one off Amazon or something, or there are
Mm-hmm.
better quality ones that cost more or last longer or have special properties like UV protection. Um,
That's important.
honestly, I think like the biggest difference is drag and comfort. Like in terms of drag, I think
Yeah.
clothing is one of the biggest improvements you can make for your speed. For the same amount of effort, you can go a lot faster if you make your change on clothing versus anything else on your bike or yourself.
So you're saying you
Um,
can't wear a suit while biking?
you just go slower.
True.
You mean like a two-piece suit with a tie and everything, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The second thing is comfort. Like the shorts will have like some padding on it that'll make your butt feel a little bit nicer.
True.
Um, and the other thing is it's moisture wicking. Like it wicks moisture away a lot better than like cotton underwear or a random dry fit shirt would feel like.
Wait, so you don't wear underwear when you wear a suit?
No, they're meant to be worn without underwear, like how swim shorts you're not supposed to wear underneath
Dude,
those.
that's why at all the coffee shops, when the biker comes in, dude, his junk is so visible. You know what I mean? Like it's so
Yeah,
visible. It's like I don't know if anybody in chat has ever experienced this, but like when you just like out in public, and there's just a biker that like struts in. Dude, the man is strutting in. Like you can see his material. Anyways,
Someone asked about skinny riding. I feel
yeah.
like that's not a good idea. If you fall, that's a lot of surface area that can get scraped.
Yikes.
Road rash is not fun.
Okay, somebody asked why do you stare at the bulge? You're not staring at the bulge, dude. You just glance and it's looking at you. Like it's so visible. Like and also like the suits are always brightly colored. Like they're asking you to look.
No, the shorts are normally black. Like if for some reason they're always black, almost always.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel every time I see a suit, like I feel like it's like
Like the top can be colorful, but the shorts are usually black with maybe with some color accents.
hey, maybe I didn't do some thinking about my sexuality. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
personally I never really focus on the ball. Just gonna throw that out there. But I know it's a thing.
it looks like our editor needs to do some work today. Um, Cap of right in the chat, boys. Uh, so have you ever rode like forest trails and stuff like that? Then
Uh Not really, no. But I have gone on like gravel trails with my
mm-hmm.
bike. I I would need a mountain bike if I wanted to go on like forest trails or something.
True, true. So gravel trails are they like the ones at like Don Valley and stuff like that? Have you ever?
Don Valley, like the Don Valley, Humber River on
Yeah,
the east and west sides respectively, those are mostly paved.
yeah. So like those, you've
Yeah.
gone those.
Those I've gone on those. Like
Okay.
those are like they're paved, not even
Yeah.
gravel. There are
True.
some gravel sections depending on where you are though.
Wait, what's the difference between paved and gravel?
Paved is like the road that people drive on. It's like asphalt or something. And gravel is just gravel, like small rocks, loosely put together.
Oh wait, that's what gravel is?
Yeah,
Oh, so
you know,
like
like those baseball diamonds or something.
baseball diamonds. Are baseball
No
diamonds
way,
sand?
no. Actually, no, never mind. I think that was
Not
just at my
sand,
middle
like
school.
a mound. Gravel is
Yeah,
like
never mind. Forget that one. But it's just a bunch of like rocks that's normally like
uh-huh.
white in color or something, white and gray.
It's like the parking when you go to like when you go to
To a
like a
beach.
yeah, beach or like a resort, like cottage or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gravel.
Makes sense. Huh.
It's not very fun to go on my road bike because my
That's
tires are too skinny.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
kind of nerve wracking to go on those.
True. Yo, honestly, what I got out of our suit discussion is that there's padding for your butt, and I really need that. Dude, I feel like, dude, bike seats really hurt after a while.
There's a few things to consider. There's one, you're just not used to the seat,
Mm-hmm.
so riding more could make that go away over time. Two, the seat's not good for your butt; it's just the wrong shape for your anatomy. And padding has some effect. You don't normally need too much padding though.
True.
Like all the pros you see, they have like no padding on their seat. They just have a thin layer of padding on their shorts. But
Yeah.
that's also countered by how much power they output. Like their pedaling just kind of lifts them off their seat a little bit more, so they aren't putting pressure on their behinds for as long.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So for your bike rides, like, how much prep do you need to do for like a route? You know, for like a ride. By that I mean like a long
Uh,
distance one.
well, the first thing that I'd have to do is pick a route.
Mm-hmm.
That's either a lot of work or a little work. I can just look for a pre-existing one and incorporate it some way, modify it so it fits my needs. Or I can plan one from scratch. That could take from like 30 seconds to like an hour or two, depending on what I'm doing and the length. In terms of getting ready, have to put on the whole skin suit or whatever, aero clothing, pack some food, do some basic bike checks. It doesn't really take too long. I think maybe like half an hour or less. Gotta apply sunscreen before as well. Long time exposure in the sun. Don't want to get skin cancer, man.
Fair. Yeah, so you've talked about something before called carb loading, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the audience what that is?
Basically, the main fuel for people is using carbohydrates to burn fat and create energy. I think they work together or something like that. Basically, the more carbs you have, the longer you're able to go, and your body can only convert like what you eat to usable carbs so fast in an hour. So the idea behind carb loading is that you already have all these processed carbs stored in your muscles. So it'll effectively allow you to ride longer with or without food before you just can't go on it because you don't have enough fuel.
So you basically just eat a lot of carbs the day before you go on the ride.
I wouldn't say the day before. It normally over like a 3 to 5 day period before.
Oh, really?
Like the whole entire time, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
But you
wow.
can also like it's more effective if you do it over multiple days, from what I've heard.
Uh-huh. That's crazy. So, do you notice like a significant difference if you do it and if you don't do it? If you ever experimented with it?
Yeah, but I can't tell if it was only because of carb loading. Back when I did my group rides, I'd drop off at the end a lot because I just ran out of energy, and I'd get essentially dropped from the ride. Like I couldn't keep up anymore, even with the draft advantage. And then one day I just started to try carb loading, and I could keep up at the end. It felt fresher at the end. But I couldn't tell if that's because of carb loading or because I rode more, so my body just adapted to it
True.
and
Dang.
got strong.
You couldn't keep up. That's something.
I'm actually kind of slow, man. It's a pretty high ceiling.
Dude,
People are
that's
pretty crazy.
Dude,
The average speed in the Tour de France is like 40, 50 kilometers an hour for many hours.
that is nuts. Dude, I remember I remember when we went to Toronto Island and we rode bikes and sorry, somebody in Twitch has asked a really funny question. Anyways, basically, dude, I remember when we were biking there, dude, I was trying my little heart out, dude. You were just zooming past me, bro. Oh my goodness, dude. I was pumping. I was pumping. I was pumping, dude. But then like, hey, and it was tandem biking, and me and Heather were both pumping, and you were riding, and your other bike rider was only riding. She wasn't even doing anything, and you were okay. I guess I was the only one pumping there, Heather. And anyways, dude, you were zooming past us.
It's body adaptations, man. My legs are a lot more used to the amount of effort required to turn pedals than yours would
True,
be.
true.
Like even if you had like some bodybuilder or something or some strength trainer,
Yeah.
they're not suited for like long distance, like long durations of energy output. They're more bursty.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Okay, so our audience member asked for carb loading, baguette or rice.
Uh, I think maybe baguette. I'd say pasta. More complex carbs are better for carb loading, I think.
Uh-huh. That makes sense. But don't eat sugar, guys. That's not carb loading, that is just Crash and
Sugar is
burn.
good for on the ride, though. Good for
Yeah, that
quick
makes
energy.
sense. Wait, don't you burn out? Like what if you what if you like sugar what is it called when you burn out after from sugar crash? Yeah, what if you sugar crash during the middle of your ride?
Honestly, I've never gone a sugar crash, but I think sugar crashing has something to do with blood sugar levels.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
you're constantly using that sugar.
Yeah,
So
it's it's not, wait, isn't it just like you're basically like you eat sugar and then so you produce a lot of insulin to break
and then your
down.
blood sugar level spikes.
Yeah, and then but because you still have that insulin, like after you process the sugar, the insulin's still there, so your blood sugar level drops significantly, and then because of that, you have low energy.
I couldn't tell you. But what I could tell you is that if you know you have those problems, you should probably find an alternate fuel source.
True.
Like,
What are good
people's needs differ.
what are good fuel sources for on the ride?
Uh, Bananas are pretty popular, but personally I hate them because I don't want to just throw it on the side of the road or something. I have to keep it in my pocket, and I find it gives stains.
True.
Something high in carbs is pretty good. Like if you're
Granola
fancy,
bar.
have lots of granola bars are okay. Um, just something that you won't get sick of and has high number of carbs.
Uh huh.
Like you can buy like energy gels or something, and those are just basically pure sugar, and
Yeah.
those are good for an energy boost for when you're kind of dying or whatever.
True.
Uh, but they're more expensive. Don't really need them unless you're doing something like a race or something. I just buy like fruit bars because they're cheap.
That makes sense. Fruit bars. I've never had them. Are they good?
Uh, Fruit bars or energy gels?
Fruit bars. Actually, both. I've never had either.
There are good ones and there are bad ones.
Fair. Fair. What are some good ones you can recommend?
Fruit bars, I just buy like fruit to go or something. I forgot what it's called. Sunripe. Some flavors
Oh,
are
true.
okay. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Dude, I
Like they're not
remember.
the hmm?
Dude, I just remember my dad buying some grape one time I was in seventh grade, and it was the nastiest thing I've ever eaten in my entire life, dude. And my mom thought so too, and then so we made him eat the rest of the stuff. But dude, it was nasty.
Personal preference, man.
Yeah,
Someone out there has to like that stuff.
true. Yeah, I agree, dude. I think it's because it tasted like licorice, and I don't really like licorice.
Oh yeah, I also hate licorice. That's just nasty, man.
I agree. What is licorice, dude? Who likes licorice? Hey, any people in the chat? What's your opinion on licorice?
I hear German people love licorice.
Really, dude, I can't stand it. I think it's so nasty. I'll eat the black ones. There are black ones.
I think so.
True. Yeah. Anyways, not a fan of licorice, and really not a fan of that purple fruit bar that I had before. Not purple, grape. Well, same thing. Purple is grape. Grape is purple. Yeah. So that's all the questions I have about biking. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Uh,
Any
Always
thoughts
wear
on your mind?
helmets.
Huh?
Always wear helmets. Stay
True.
safe on the road. If you're staying outside in the sun for long periods of time, you should wear sunscreen.
All right.
I
True.
don't know. Not. I don't have much to say.
No, that's pretty good. I think that was a very informative talk for our audience who wants to get into biking. We're just a little curious on what it's like. So for all you podcast listeners, we're gonna end it here. But